As Swami Vivekananda said, and I quote, true guidance is like a torch in a dark forest. Our beloved principal, Mrs. Promini Chopra Ma'am, who has been that friend, that pillar of support, that guiding light, who has illuminated our path and stood by all the students with her unwavering support throughout these 14 remarkable years of our seniors. Her grace and calm composure has inspired and motivated us in our endeavors. It is with great pleasure and deep respect that I now request our esteemed principal, Mrs. Promini Chopra Ma'am, to address this august gathering and enlighten the students with her words of wisdom.
Just as I'm very happy to see you, ISC students, who've achieved this milestone in life, I cannot tell you how I feel when I look at these 5 students in front of me. Amitesh Pankte, Animesh Verma, Fiza Khan, Parth Singh, and Jayesh Khare. Can we have a huge round of applause for these students? Children, you will actually wonder, why have they been called? If they were to come here, they should have come here for the other students who still have a few more years in the school. But somehow we felt that you are leaving us and you need all the knowledge that they have gained, all that they have experienced after leaving school. We consider you our responsibility even now, even though you've taken your TCs. I am truly grateful for the gracious presence of all the parents today who are here and who've supported their children to reach this stage and supported the school throughout the journey of these students. Very often it is said that parents are too demanding these days, but somehow Jaipuria is a school which is blessed with parents who actually possess a calm demeanor, and we do not have any concerns with the parents because we have immense support from them, and I'm truly grateful to you for that. I am extremely thankful to Asha Ma'am, Navsrijan Principal, who must have taught some of these alumni in Jaipuria, and also to all the academic heads, the headmaster, the headmistresses, the 3 vice principals of the school, two vice principals of the school, Mrs. Deepa Vahi and Dr. Anupam Vidyarthi. I am grateful to you for leading the school. We do not believe in a vertical hierarchy, children. That's why it is essential for me to introduce you to them, because tomorrow you will be leaders somewhere. And one single person cannot do anything. This is a lesson you can take from your own school. You need people to reach this stage. And those people are my teachers, much respected, much loved teachers who have been with the children throughout, day in and day out. And this is something the children must have felt all these years. But children, you will feel this even more when you go to a college where probably you will not have an association with your teachers. And then, it's because of you, children, that we are seeing this day. And I've got an opportunity to speak. It is your hard work. If you had mentors, you had parents to support, well, it's not essential. Everybody does not listen. Everybody does not take everything from a mentor. But the very fact that you've done this and you've shown your dedication and sincerity in your result, for that, I'm grateful to you and I love you all for that. Thank you so much for filling this hall with so much. I'm very much aware and I know that this batch is leaving a legacy behind, not only of academic excellence, but of their perfection in the skills they've acquired and their ability to learn. And also, beyond this, the multiple talents that you have. Some of you are really multifaceted. You are very good at taking initiatives. You've proved yourself in the clubs, in the events that you've organized. You've proved your mettle. Nonetheless, when I stand here, I am anxious. I'm an anxious parent. You'll wonder why. Because I know that your wings are strong, strong enough to soar above the clouds when required, and also steady enough to simply be there, hold yourself in the sky. Then what is the reason for this anxiety? So I'll bring to you an anecdote from the life of Professor Vikram Sarabhai. You all know that he was a great scientist, the pioneer of space research in our country. So Professor Vikram Sarabhai and his team, now this is a story of how the whole thing came into being and how India has reached this height in space research with so many centers of scientific research in our country. From where did it begin? So there's a place in Kerala called Thumba. And this place was very suitable for ionospheric research because of its proximity to the electromagnetic equator. Vikram Sarabhai came to know of this, and he had this deep desire to research in space. But the political class felt it was a challenge to give this place to him. The reason being that it had a church. It had the bishop's house, it had a school, and it had fishermen who belonged to that place, who had their dwellings in that place. So asking for that place for space research was too much. Vikram Sarabhai took it upon himself, and he went to the bishop on a Saturday evening. You can think why he went on a Saturday evening. He spoke to him about the place, and he said that the research would actually lead to development of human beings in this country. And of course, when science develops, we all know that we all develop. So eventually, the bishop listened to him, and without a word, he did not react. He did not even respond. He was just in silence. And both the men, Vikram Sarabhai, if you read about him, and the bishop, they had this quality of getting into silence and also smiling in adversity. Perhaps after the anecdote, you'll be able to understand why we stress so much on silence. Part of it you've already heard from Sanvi in the video that was there with Sudhanshu Trivedi ji. So both of them were quiet, and eventually, very, very smilingly, the bishop told Professor Sarabhai, come tomorrow in the Sunday Mass. That was the reason for Professor Sarabhai perhaps to choose a Saturday. And thereafter, when Professor Sarabhai reached the church, next morning, he was introduced to the congregation. And the bishop, you just see how he introduced Professor Sarabhai. He says, my dear children, I have a scientist today in this congregation. I have always taken care of you, prayed for your peace, prayed for your calm. And when you're peaceful and calm, you develop. So in a way, I've prayed for your development. And today here, you can feel science all around you. The light that is there in this auditorium, the play of electricity, the sound that you hear from the mic, and the brush that you've had with medical science when you fell sick, we owe all that to science. And we owe all that to people who research and bring these facts to us. So he said that in a way, both Vikram Sarabhai and I, we care for your well-being. And then he kept quiet for a moment and said, he wants that in this place, there can be another dwelling for all of us at another place after some time. So now, can we give the God's abode? Can we give our abode? And can we give the school to him for everyone's development? You can understand what would have happened. People would not have clapped on hearing this. It was giving a lot, which had been with them for years. A deathly silence fell in the church. But very soon, perhaps reflection, internalization, and his grace. I would attribute these only to this because this is what your school talks about. Very soon, all of them rose up and a loud amen was heard in that area. The people offered it to him and offered the space to him. True to himself, because he was trustworthy, the dwellings were provided to them, alternative space was provided to all the fishermen, the school was built, the church was built, and of course, the bishop's house was there within the stipulated time. And you can understand how much trust must have developed in the whole community and how much belief they must have developed in humanity when these dwellings were given to him. What was promised was given to them. So eventually I'd say it was Vikram Sarabhai's trustworthiness which made this happen. So now a place of religion, a place of spirituality became a place of scientific research. And that led to a chain of researches and a chain of institutes of this kind. It became a center of learning and it became an example for people to know about, and people do study about him, to know about the bishop, the spiritual leader who had a broad vision and who had that magnanimity to understand what the country needs. And then also to study about science. So eventually, we can say that a spiritual leader and maybe a materialistic leader, they coordinated to bring what? To bring something huge to humanity. Just because this materialism of Sarabhai was not about earning money, was not about I, me, mine, and this is mine. Just as we are fortunate to have you, sir, and to narrate this anecdote. You validated what I wanted to say, and I had included that, but thank you for saying that, so I'm deleting that part of my speech. So, spirituality and science, they have to come together. Those of you who are science students, do not think only about your admission in a medical college or an engineering college. There is cutthroat competition, I know, but that's what not life is. After a while, if you've not understood the value of looking beyond your grades, marks, and your own personal success, you may not be very happy. You may not feel inside you that you've actually done something. What next? When you reach a certain stage and you've earned enough, what next? What's left? There has to be something, there has to be a larger picture, and that picture has to be created now. But it's not all that easy. Now, if you look at Vikram Sarabhai, he was probably, what he wanted happened just because of his demeanor. Not only scientific acumen, But his trustworthiness, as I said, his depth, his tranquility, and his ability to accept what was in front of him, not be deterred by the challenge, and even have the ability to walk alone, to find a solution. I'm sure you can understand the life lesson that you need to pick up from this story. And the spiritual leader, Vikram Sarabhai, and the leader, both of them, they were harmonized beings. They created harmony within and around them so that there was no dissent. Now, children, compare this with the present scenario. The present world has plunged into strife because of distrust and competition which fuel I and me. And you all must be knowing more than me about this, much, much more, because I don't dwell in social media. It has its advantages, a lot of advantages, a lot of learning. But at the same time, we know that at the spur of the moment, when something is said, how do we react? Children, you're going to face the world. Before writing something about someone on the media, just think. If you're commenting on something, is it the larger picture that you look at? Are you writing for the other person, to disturb the other person, or to disturb your own self? You must ask yourself this whenever you move and you look at things which are there, and if anything has to be attributed to you, reason out with you. I'll be definitely put to rest when I understand that none of you will forget the school's philosophy and practices of silence and offering. When it is exam time, it's always, Bhagwan ji, meri help kar dena, please. Aaj kuch bhulana mat. Right? But when the result comes, then first celebrations start and then Bhagwan ji yaad aate hain. So, before writing something, before doing something, please offer. And think, to whom are you offering? You've heard this in the school on so many occasions in the spiritual retreat from Anjali Ma'am, who's brought in this philosophy over here. Many of you are not with us in this philosophy because you feel it is too much of divinity. And you feel the talk is cliched. And it has nothing to do with the present world, because the present world is bad. The present world, this is not the reality. But who is responsible for this reality is something that we need to ask. You cannot deny the presence of a soul in you. You cannot deny the presence of a consciousness in you. And that consciousness is what you need to dig into if you wish to create a life for yourself. Because problems are outside, they are not within. Solutions are within. Solutions are in that connectedness with that divinity in you. There is no divine outside. I'm not asking you to think of divinity outside. It's within you. When you do something wrong, nobody has to tell you that it was wrong. You know it. When you do something right, how do you feel is something that you know. Why is it that you feel that way? Because when you do something right, you're connected with yourself, and that is your real self. And when you do something wrong, then you know that it is wrong. I've moved away from that divinity within me. So when you move out of this school, when you move out of your homes, when you go to colleges, you will not have your parents. You will not have the teachers. You may have people who are indifferent to you. You will know many people whose mindsets are different, whose values are different, whose thought process is different, but they're all around you. And there's nobody to guide you. So at that time, you have to go deep within to understand what is the purpose of your life, what is the purpose for which you have come to a college, where do you want to take yourself? Is that association going to help you in that purpose or not? If any association in your college or in your hostel outside does not help you in reaching your aim, then you have to rethink about that association, because you are your own guide. You have to give strength to yourself. I've already said that enlightened spiritual and scientific leaders connected with their innermost self can converge towards giving reverence to human life. Give reverence to human life through all your relations, through all that you do when you are out of this school. Someday you will come back the way these 5 alumni are there, and we want you to be our pride. That's why I say this. So now you have a technique to face all the challenges, to face all those people whose skills and whose habits and thoughts are different from you. What else has to be taught? You simply have to keep in mind that whatever be the depth or the state of cleanliness of a pond may be, the lotus blooms. And when it blooms, it does not face downwards. It opens up in all its perfection, all its beauty, to receive light. If you remember just this one aspect, then I'm sure no aim will be too lofty for you to reach, because there is nothing which will deter you from your path. Once again, heartiest congratulations to all of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind and encouraging words and for sharing with us the anecdote of Vikram Sarabhai.
Now, we request our Vice Principal Administration, Dr. Anupam Vidyarthi Sir, to kindly introduce the meritorious Alpana Goel Award for Excellence in Geography and the prestigious Parul Mishra Award for Excellence in Biotechnology.
Vande Matram. Alpana Ma'am and Parul Ma'am left behind a testament to their knowledge, passion, and unwavering commitment to their duty. These two awards become a window into the past, a reminder of the vibrant life that once filled the space. It's a painful reminder that life is fleeting and that we must cherish the time we have with our loved ones, our colleagues, and our mentors. The awards stand as a bittersweet tribute, a reminder that even in the face of loss, the legacy of those we have lost can continue to inspire and guide us. The Alpana Goel Award for Excellence in Geography for ISC. This is a gold medal for excellence in geography for the session 23-24. Miss Alpana Goel was a powerhouse in geography for senior school, a prestigious pillar in laying the foundation of our school, a lady with a heart of gold and a keen eye for the wonders of the world, both literally and geographically. This year, Alpana Goel Award for Excellence in Geography goes to Priyamvada Singh, who secured 99% in geography. I now request the parents of Alpana Ma'am, Mrs. Aruna Goel, mother, and Dr. Apul Goel, brother of Alpana Ma'am, to kindly honor Priyamvada Singh with the award. The Parul Mishra Award for Excellence in Biotechnology, ISC. This is a gold medal for excellence in biotechnology for session 23-24. Dr. Parul Mishra, a renowned biology teacher, and she had initiated biotechnology as a subject in the council and the school at the ISC level. Her knowledge of biology and biotechnology was extensive. Her legacy goes on and inspires each batch that passes out from Seth M.R. Japuria School, Lucknow. This year, Parul Mishra Award for Excellence in Biotechnology goes to Tashbeeb Jafar, who secured 98% in biotechnology. I now request Mr. Manoj Mishra, husband of Dr. Parul Mishra, to kindly honor Tashbeeb Jafar with the award. Thank you so much, Mr. Mishra, Promini Ma'am, and Varsha Ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Now, May I please have the honor to request our esteemed chief guest for the event, Professor Vinod Solanki Ma'am, a remarkable figure whose contributions to education and community development are truly inspiring.
Professor Solanki Ma'am's illustrious career includes her tenure as the professor and head of the English department at Deen Dayal Upadhyay, Gorakhpur University, and her role as director of HRDC, UGC. She has immense knowledge on Sri Aurobindo and the Mother and has guided those who wrote their PhD on the same. She has significantly impacted the lives of many by serving as a member of the Executive Council in the University of Tripura, thereby continuing her mission of educational and social transformation. She is also a member of the Management Committee of Jaipuria.
It is rightly said, knowledge shared is knowledge squared. On this note, I would like to request Professor Vinod Solanki Ma'am to share her wonderful insight and wisdom which we could hold on to forever.
तन्मे मन शिव संकल्पमस्तु. It is such an exhilarating experience for me to see young India sitting here in the hall, budding, flowering, joyous, enthusiastic to participate in the victory, glory, and development of future India. We all know that a new race is born and is far ahead than what we are. So I feel it is so much useless to talk to what we had learned and what we are practicing, because my dear young enthusiasts of the country, touching the horizons of the global community, you are far ahead than what we can transmit to you. But anyway, it's a kind of duty, or you can say a solemn ceremony. So that is why. Mrs. Promini Chopra, the principal, you know every bit of her, how she works with you, guides you day and night. Talked about harmony, and I think I should touch that particular idea from a practical application point of view. You are studying in a school which is known for conscious transformation. Every day you practice magic silence, you're taught Gita. You can very well explain the difficult verses of Gita. I have heard you many times, your elaborations, your explanations, and I feel very proud of myself to get associated with you. A few things which are on the surface of the mind I wish to share. When we talk about conscious transformation, we must understand that it is not a theory, it is not a principle. It has to enter into practice. How? We all know we have had many sessions earlier that man is a transitional being, he is not final. Many of you must have listened to it. You had such difficult questions which I could not answer at the moment. And I wish to elaborate it a little. The evolution, in this process of evolution, man is an intermediary. The present state of mankind is not final. He is only an intermediary. We are being evolved. Nature has evolved us from mineral to herbal, from herbal to animal, from animal to human. This is not final. The nature is silently, very gently, somewhat secretly doing it constantly. The inner world is working about it. Now, what we have to do, Sri Arvind, in his magnum opus, The Life Divine, writes, in the living laboratory of animal, nature has worked out man. And now, in the living and thinking laboratory of man, and with his conscious cooperation, this is important. If you are writing, you must underline. And with his conscious cooperation, nature works out Superman. So, dear children, our journey is from the mineral to the Superman. At the moment, we are human race, humankind. And the journey is yet to be pursued until we attain the status of the Superman, which is human destiny. So what should be the practical approach? This is just for our brilliant children who understand it very well, that there are gradations of consciousness. At present, humanity has got 3 major gradations of consciousness. We are the physical, we are the vital, and we are the mental. And in these 3 molds are made up of the inconscient. There's a word, conscient. You write in, so becomes the opposite. So what does it mean? The conscient is mixed up with ignorance. तुलसीदास जी इसको अच्छा समझाते हैं, विधि प्रपंच गुण अवगुण साना. गुण अवगुण, ज्ञान और अज्ञान, conscient and inconscient. Both have been plugged together, mixed together. This is our present human status. So 3 gradations, the physical, vital, and the mental, are of inconscient nature. We have to transcend. We have to supersede. We have to go across these 3. And then there are 5 gradations of consciousness. One by one, we have to attain them. We have to achieve them. So how we have to proceed in this journey to rise from the inconscient status into the conscient, from mind to higher mind, from higher mind to illumined mind, from illumined mind to intuitive, then overmind, and then finally the supramental consciousness. Now, how should we practice? How this harmony has to be maintained in the three gradations of consciousness in which we are living. In the lower grades, a process of refinement is essential. So normally we begin and we practice in the vital. Vital is our emotional being, our worldly desires, our aims, the things which we wish to attain in life, all are in the vital. Vital is our emotional being also. And since it is a mixture of knowledge and ignorance, we tend to commit errors now and then. So a student of a school, Japuria, known for conscious transformation, has to be very, very alert. Whenever there is a feeling, whenever there is a thought which you think is unworthy of your being a practitioner of conscious transformation, you have to refine yourself. The vital refinement finally refines the mind. So suppose, for example, for a moment you have anger. What would you do? How would you control your anger? Which teacher will come and tell you, dear child, you're angry. You shouldn't be angry. We have to be our own inspectors. We have to be on our own guard. And inner consciousness, it must prick. A word must come from within. Oh no, this is a lower movement. In the vocabulary of spiritual literature, these three grades are called the lower movements. This is the lower movements where there is ego, where there is ignorance. So there are momentary flashes of human weaknesses, human shortcomings. So suppose there is anger. You have to immediately shift yourself inside and say, no, I don't have to be angry. This is the lower movement. I don't have to remain in the lower movement, and suddenly there is a lift. There is a rise of the consciousness. And you smart students must be knowing that the scientists across the world are working on a global consciousness project. There are some 55 or 60 very advanced equipments have been put all over the world. They are recording the levels of consciousness going up and going down. At the moment, this whole group of people is talking and listening about consciousness. This is also being recorded in Global Consciousness Project. So as an individual, when I alarm myself, when I warn myself, when there is jealousy, when there is anger, when there is a low kind of competition in my mind, When there is a desire which I am not worthy of, I must immediately tuck myself within and say to myself, oh, this is lower moment. Let me get out of it. The consciousness is immediately raised. So that is how the vital is being refined. There are so many other ways also, but this is practical. You are on the sports ground. This is for the refinement of your vital. You do practices, some physical exercises. This is the refinement of the physical. You are studying, you are reading the verses of the scriptures, you are mastering your subject. This is also the refinement of the mental. But to bring it into practice in daily life, hour by hour, day by day, is to be conscious of what belongs to the lower moment and immediately get a push, get a rise, and understand. So this will be a tremendous practice, followed very easy also. The only thing is that we have to understand what is going wrong within me. And once these levels undergo a process of refinement, there will be harmony, which Promini Ma'am talked about in Vikram Sarabhai and the Vishap. Both in complete tranquility, in a very composed state, took the decision not for a community, not for one individual, not for the demand of one scientist, but for the welfare, for the well-being of the whole human, for the whole human race. So this is how we have to be in this practice, and I'm sure the background which you have in your school, the practices which you've been getting off and on and almost every day will certainly help you. And you will have, while you are in practice, say 4 months, 5 months, or a year, you will very well understand the difference between the lower moments and the higher moments. Off and on, there will be a flash of the higher mind. And this will tremendously help you in accomplishing, in exercising your higher studies. There will be the flashes of the illumined mind. There will be a light. Inside the mind, there will be a light like a flash. As Wordsworth writes, it flashed upon my inward eye. I want that in each one of you, these flashes of the inward eye takes place as it does in Wordsworth or other great writers and scientists. Then there is the intuitive mind. We all have the occasion to have the experience of the intuitive mind. Something good has to occur, and we have got a prior understanding. This is intuition. When we have got the experience of intuition, why don't we make an effort to intuitivize our mind? Let it be a natural, normal course that we do not live in the mind, we live in the intuitive mind. And whatever you will do, whatever decision you will take in your life will be the best. It will not only for your own personal welfare, it will be for the good of the whole world. So this is what is expected of students of Jaipuriya school as they excel in their courses, in their subjects. They have to excel across the world. And I feel that sometime we will get the data from the Global Conscious Project that there is a space in Lucknow known as Jaipuriya School, and the rise of consciousness every day is registered. When September 11, 2001, the GCP had registered the consciousness of the whole world, of terror, of anxiety, of loss, when the attack on the Pentagon was made. So we have to reverse it. We have to do the best that we are destined to. So this is how to practice. This is how you have to establish a harmony between the three levels of consciousness, the physical, vital, and the mental, so that you can transcend the inconscient stage and enter into the higher realms of consciousness. With all good wishes and with a promise, with an acceptance that you will look forward for your future, for the future of the country, and for the future of the human race, and you will realize your aspirations that you have in your heart, the aspirations of your parents, the aspirations of your teachers who always stand by your side. I'm always enamored and remind me every moment that I am born in India because of the very special, fragrant soil of India. And the poet sings, यहाँ अवतार जन्मे हैं, यहाँ अवतार जन्मे हैं, पले हैं वीर ऋषि योगी। न कोई यह समझ बैठे कि अब ये भूमि परती है। यहाँ का हर नया अंकुर, यहाँ का हर नया अंकुर अगर पाला गया ढंग से, नमूना बन के गाएगा कि ये उपजाऊ धरती है। आपको नमूना बनना है पूरी दुनिया में। जय हिंद, जय भारत।